If you were to not see my face right now and you had something black over the camera and you just heard my voice, probably what would you believe that I am? You probably wouldn't feel as though I'm Korean.
At a very young age, my son was actually playing at a friend's house, and my son has a little bit more of the olive skin coloring. And kids, even at a young age, this is the thing that comes to my mind most, is that the little boy said, well, I'm not going to play with the little brown boy, which he meant my son. And that just broke my heart, because I had remember going through those feelings growing up that I was different, and hearing somebody say that. And my son will even say, well, you know, I'm the same, but why did he call me that? And he was about 4.5 years old.
If you take yourself out of the environment, or whether or not you're black or white, out of your environment, out of your comfort zone, so to speak, and you know the truth, you have to have a perception about the individual, not on the outside, what they look like, black, white, beautiful, cute, ugly, whatever. It's all about that person.
I do believe that there is progress, but I also think that there's a lot of lip service that is paid to the whole idea of diversity, and that many people are not really living it. That they talk about it, but they don't really live it.
We live in probably the most segregated area in the entire country, and it's all divided by 8 Mile, and it's pretty sad, really, because you have two completely distinct cultures feeding off one another economically, and they don't even talk at all, and they live 50 feet, 8 miles, 50 feet wide, you know, and it works that way pretty much. You know.
There's always the suspicion about people who are different. The lack of knowledge and lack of experience with them breeds for either indifference or fear, suspicion. The only way to deal with it is to learn to speak and meet other people and respect their background.
Yes.
Hey, we still have a couple people coming, but we're going to start now. And my brother's dream in American Experiment is, gosh, I'm getting emotional. Fancy that. I'm really excited about this. We are hoping to portray an image of America that we would like to see. Holy smokes, I didn't expect this. That we would like to see a multicultural group that can get along and embrace each other. So what this experiment is, everyone has pictures that they will take, photographs of a mix of people. And I want to suggest that there's creativity in your photographs. It doesn't have to be a photo of two people perfectly framed. There could be hands in the picture, feet, backs of heads, who knows? Be creative. I think it's a really unique opportunity, and if we just really embrace this, creativity will come out.
I just want to thank, again, everyone for coming here today. Without you, there is no My Brother's Dream, there is no documentary that could even take place. You guys are a representation of your culture, of your background, and through you guys we will show everybody who gets to view this documentary what this is all about, and that people can interact together in a positive manner, and that we can promote peace.
When you get your cameras and you get rolling, please don't be shy. These are your brothers and sisters. So enjoy the experiment.
Then you always got to have this turned, and then that button comes up. Okay, then that button comes up, you're all set. You got to press that in front for the red light to come in. Okay?
And then shoot.
Then shoot.
Okay.
Nalini? Yana. Nalini.
Oh, no.
Nalini, yeah.
Okay.
So you're
Korean.
okay. 2 to 3 years it took completely to get over, and probably until for the first visit I went to India. I think until that time I was really lonely. Well, actually, I didn't want to leave my family, especially my father and my mother, sisters, brothers, but I have to follow my husband.
My name is Krishnappa, but my first name really is Krishna. That's how everybody calls me, Krishna. I've been here for almost 39 years, would you believe? I came in 1966 August. So come this August, I'll be finishing 39 years. And my wife came a year later, back in 1967.
My name is Anthony or Tony.
Anthony?
Tony. Or
My
Tony.
name's Anthony. Yeah, not bad.
Yes, indeed.
That's it. It's every Wednesday is spaghetti night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite, as you can tell.
And you are? What's your name?
فرانك.
Frank?
يا تيك أنيس.
Kalav Koristo. Bravo.
برافو. ما شلونك؟ ما شلونك؟ توف مايو؟ I'm from Oroshalayim, from Jerusalem.
Yeah. You get.
What is your name?
Frank.
Frank.
Real name.
Real name.
Cash.
But Farah.
Cash.
Are you Arab?
I'm Christian. I live in East Jerusalem. Oroshalayim.
Boy, you have stories to tell. I don't know, good or bad, but
How'd you know Greek? How'd you know?
Because I'm born Greek Orthodox. I'm Greek Orthodox in the church.
Oh,
But yeah, Benedictus.
That's what I am, Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, I'm the original Greek Orthodox.
Oh,
I moved from Jerusalem to here.
oh.
I'm Greek. I'm Orthodox.
Where do you live here?
I live in Detroit, Michigan, here,
Ah.
Westland here.
In the Westland, yeah. Well, we all live.
Are you from Greece or Cyprus?
No, my people are all from Sparta, Greece.
Oh, Greece.
And then when the Second World War came, Americans went all over. They discovered a whole different society out there. That's when the American attitude changed. Because prior to that, like I say, especially if you, whether you're an Italian, a Greek, or wherever you were, and you came from the Mediterranean area, you weren't treated very well.
Yeah.
2 years, I moved 5 times.
5 times?
One time I lived there 2 weeks and something like that.
Wow.
Very, very tough. And I made a lot of mistakes because I don't know about America. Everything's different.
It is.
System, bank, government, everything.
The way people interact.
Only problem is I couldn't understand some people's accent, but I have many friends from many countries.
My brother and I, we had the leave it to beaver type of life. You know, we were in the hood, but my mom and dad, they were, both under one roof, and they allowed us to grow and make our mistakes, but yet at the same time let us become boys to men. And they spent a lot of quality time with me and my brother and I.
Do you have any sister?
No.
Just a brother?
Just one brother.
Yeah, he's smart, guys. How is the life treat you now?
Life is good, but life is what you make of it. Life is what you make of it. And, I have a beautiful wife, 2 girls now, and teenagers, and take care of my mom. She's retired now, and we're close. We're close, especially since my father passed away a few years back. And that was my hero.
What do you do for a living?
My dad?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Dad.
He was a millwright for GM. He was a millwright for GM. He could just look at something and just build it. He was like a visionary. And once he see it, he can create it. He can build it. There was nothing he can do. Once he put his mind to it, he'd do it. So now my brother and I, we do things around the house, outside the house. We build things, whatever, And we know our father would be proud because, we pretty much emulate him, what he used to do when we were kids. And my dad he wasn't a big talker. My dad, he was pretty much a man of action.
Stop or I'll shoot. If we can't find peace in the Holy Land, the birthplace of, the idea of holiness, of God, of one people, that is, if we have one Father, then are we not all brothers? Kind of. If we can't have peace there, where are we going to find it?
That's right.
他问你，他说你在美国是不是有很多朋友？你给我说中文就行了。
有Chinese.
Oh yeah, she has a lot of Chinese friends, and because she speaks very little English, it's very hard for her to make friends with American people. But she has a lot of Chinese friends.
It's difficult for them to live. I couldn't imagine just going from one country, from here, and just living somewhere where they don't speak my language.
My parents were born in Indonesia, but they actually fled the country like refugees and went to the Netherlands because they had Dutch blood in them. The Dutch actually used to own Indonesia. It was a colony. Yeah, and during the Second World War is when they lost the country. So then there was a revolution, and they actually lost, and that's when my parents left. Well, my parents left at different times. My dad left in 1948, and then my dad is 5 years older than my mom. He was a Dutch merchant marine, and he actually was taking the refugees from Indonesia to the Netherlands, and my mom was actually a passenger when she was 18, and that's how they met. So it's a very unique love story. I grew up in Grand Rapids, which is primarily Dutch. A lot of Dutch people actually go to Grand Rapids because it's very Dutch. I mean, almost anybody you find there has a name with a Vander, they're blonde hair, they're blue eyes. They're the typical Dutch protocol of what you think of somebody that's Dutch. My parents are Dutch citizens even to this day. They have a Dutch passport. And being there, they wouldn't think that we're Dutch. So growing up, it was very much different. We would say, well, we're Dutch. Well, my grandma's coming from the Netherlands, and people would say, you're not Dutch. And even now, it's almost a joke. You know, I'll say, well, I'm Dutch, or my kids will say they're Dutch, and people will say, well, you're not Dutch. And I really am Dutch. I can speak Dutch. All my mom's family lives in the Netherlands, and that's the interesting part I think about it is that I embrace the European culture from my mom and dad. I have 2 sisters and then 1 brother. Both of my sisters embrace more the Asian culture of my parents. So they really are interested in Indonesian culture, the language, things about Indonesia, where I embrace more the European. And growing up, I fought it more with friends, like, yes, I'm Dutch, I'm way more like you. I wanted to fit in more, where my sister said, well, we're not, that's fine. So that was kind of interesting growing up, because as we're older now, we talk about it, and it's kind of just a difference in how we felt about our friends and how we felt accepted. You can kind of see even our personalities, how we handled how people treated us, I guess I would say. Both my sisters were like, well, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show them. Whereas I was more, I wanted to blend and be part of it.
Well, I don't know. I always think of like Mexican families as like being really close-knit, you know, everything. I don't know, just that's what I've always heard, and I wondered if it's really true.
Oh yes, it's really true. My grandmother was like the matriarch of the family, and she held it together. She always knew what all the cousins were doing, and everyone had to come to her house for every holiday. And even in general, just on a regular Sunday. I would say every single Sunday of my life growing up, I went to go visit my grandmother. My mom and dad, when they got married, my mother's parents were just not real happy that my mom was going to marry this Mexican, and they didn't really want to ever take the time to learn if he was a good person or not. They just already made a judgment that they didn't want their daughter marrying someone Mexican. My dad, he grew up in a real ethnic family. Both parents spoke Spanish. They had lots of kids, and you know, a poor neighborhood. And my mother grew up completely different, and he had great respect for his family. There's a lot of love in his family, and a lot of traditions. And but he longed to be part of my mom's, be accepted by their side of the family. So he really, it seemed like he worked really hard to try to gain approval and gain this acceptance by like the outside, because of always feeling that prejudice from, and other people too. I mean, I noticed as I became an adult and I would see my father at parties, I'd see people go up to him. His name was Francisco, and the nickname for that is Pancho. And sometimes I would see people that would say, oh, hi, yeah, what was your name again, like Paco or Taco or something? And it just seemed so insulting, and I could just see him, it just bothered him, I could tell.
I want people to be able to accept people for who they are, and that's another human being. You know, people look at your skin tone, people look at your verbiage, people look at your hair, people look at your clothes. It's, you know, we're all part of the human race, and you know, I would like the United States to be a little bit more open to other people and not judge people for being where they're from. You know, because I told my parents, I said, do not try to arrange a marriage for me. I said, because if it doesn't work out, who do you think I'm going to blame? I'm going to be mad at you. If I bring home some guy from Ireland with flaming red hair, you know, and in a beautiful accent, but I love him.
Stay out of my way.
Exactly.
I am part Italian.
You're part Italian? What other ethnic origin?
Black, French, Indian, Syrian, a bunch of other things, Mexican.
I'm about fourth generation American. I know that on my father's side, my great-grandparents, my grandfather came from the Magdalene Islands in Canada, and his wife, or my great-grandmother, came from County Cork, Ireland. I know my mother's family, they're German and French, Canadian as well, which I understand all French Canadian people came from France, but they had lived in Canada. And those are my great-grandparents. My parents were both born here in the United States. My father was born in the Upper Peninsula, and my mother was born in Holly, Michigan, and I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I think if countries from the other parts of the world really look deep into our country, we're from everywhere. We are the melting pot. We are every country from around the world in one. And I think that makes us unique in that sense, you know, pretty much, even though there's prejudice and cultural differences, we pretty much live in a country where there's a lot of harmony, considering how many different nationalities are here. So I know how you feel. It's hard because you can't read anything, you can't say anything. It's a difficult transition.
Yeah.
But in 2 years, you speak English perfect.
Yeah.
And you understand perfect, don't you?
Oh, she can understand, but she just can't speak.
Oh, she can understand, exactly.
Yeah.
When I was in Belgium, I could understand, but I could not speak. I only speak French un petit peu.
玫瑰在你心目中是什么样子的？玫瑰对你来说有什么意义？有说中文。
一个是自由平等，还有一个有自主权，那是最重要。还有一个，我认为美国的那个管理和教育都觉得是比较，就是说能接受。
Okay, she said the most things for her is in your mark. You know, everybody has freedom, and everybody are treated fairly and equally. And in America, everybody has better education, better environment to study, to learn, and it's easy to live in America. Just pursuit of better lives.
I have a game like here.
You play soccer.
I used to play left wing. I used to play.
You were pretty good?
Not bad. I remember I was running good against another game, you know.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So, you had a girlfriend then?
No. I was good kid at that time.
You don't like girls?
And I like girl, but I was busy working.
Working outside of the home?
Working another job, working.
But you were young.
After school, yeah.
I mean, you were in grade school, went to school, and then after school you worked where?
Yeah, I work, you know, some clean up stuff, neighbors, stores, make extra money for, you know.
How much money would you make?
Not maybe you call them $1 a week, like money now. $1 a week, you know, 20 cents a day. You know.
Would you keep the money or?
I was spending for candy, no. Sometimes I take for candy bar. You know, candy was for kids. It look like gift.
Oh, okay.
You know, love candy, chocolate. You know, the kids is kids. You know.
We're all God's children. Doesn't make any difference. I don't care whether you're from New Guinea or you're from the backwoods of some Aborigine tribe or something. We're all God's children. Makes no difference. You know, I have in religion the same thing. I don't care what avenue you take, long as you're good in your heart. To me, is what counts.
Where are you from?
From me?
Yeah.
From Jerusalem.
From Jerusalem?
Palestine.
Oh my goodness. So many things common.
Yeah.
There's so much. That's what I was trying to talk to him. Instead of as feeling, you know, we are separate, I believe in a different religion, you believe in a different religion. That's okay. You know, for the surface, it's okay. On the surface, it's okay. But as you start going deeper and deeper with human beings, then we should understand we all come from the same. Agu ni aniketan. That sounds funny to you because it's Kannada language, my language. That agu ni means you become. The next word is aniketan. Niketan means a home. And aniketan means no home or homeless. So he says, agu ni aniketana. That is, you become homeless. So what does it mean? That's the title of the poem. So this great poet is saying, you become homeless. So literally it means you go broke and start living on the street. That's what that is, you become homeless. You don't have a home. But that's not what he means there. The poetic or the inner meaning or the hidden meaning in it is the home stands for the place where you live or your surroundings. And don't build your home or your surroundings with concrete or steel. So that's not the type of house I want you to live in. So you become homeless in that way. That is, mix with others, mingle with others, make the world your home. President Reagan said, Gorbachev, bring that wall down, he said. So that wall that separates us, that wall could be a physical thing like the Russians had built in there, or it could be an imaginary thing of division based on race, religion, or whatever reason. So that is a wall. So in that poem, as it goes on with many stanzas in the poem, he even mentions that, come out of your churches, come out of your mosques, come out of your temples. So worship God in a new way. You don't have to stick to worshiping God only in churches. And then again, you know, classifications of churches, or in mosques or temples. Feel free.
When you tell people, well, my father's West African and my mother's East Indian, they ask you, well, how did they meet? How did they fall in love? Love is a universal thing. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your skin color. It's all about feelings. It's all about chemistry. You know, my parents are two human beings that fell in love. They're two beautiful people. They had 4 beautiful kids. And you know, I would love for other people in the United States as well as other countries to be able to appreciate that can happen.
I love it.
So you're really happy you came here.
Yeah, that's the only one free country for everybody.
And you're married to an American woman, and your second wife is American also?
No, she's Jordanian.
Jordanian.
Arabic.
And you met her on a 1-800 number?
Yeah, 1-800 New York newspaper.
Really? Did you?
No.
You had me going for a second.
But I called him. I booked my 1-800 Frankie baby. 24 hours, 7 days a
1-800
week.
Frankie baby, and she called you?
Yeah, 7 days a week, 24 hours.
Okay, did you get a lot of phone
Yeah,
calls?
yeah. Still, I wait. Come for another phone if somebody interested.
Oh.
No problem.
And so she called up and said, oh, Frankie baby.
Yeah. I said, call me, I don't call you.
And what's her name?
Alice.
Alice?
Alice.
It's not a very Jordanian name.
This one. Alice. Same.
Alice. Is Frank your real name?
No, Farah.
Farah.
Fawcett, Farah, F-A-R-A-H.
Farah.
Farah.
This is very cool, the sword head. Look at that. It's a sword handle. And what's the deal with the fabric?
Batik.
Oh, batik.
Indonesians are famous for the batik fabric. This is batik. This is actually a real piece. And I have wayang puppets that are made
Here,
with
put it
leather.
on me. I'll wear it.
I'll wear it.
Just for a minute.
It's just like a wrap skirt.
So this is from Indonesia, and
Yeah,
it's
my
the
mom and dad
batik
brought it
fabric. Okay. Do you wear a special top?
Actually, some people, they wear these different ways. They wear them as dresses, they wear them as skirts. It just depends. So it's just a wrap skirt.
Doesn't do much for my figure.
No, me neither.
I think we have a long way to go with diversity. And, you know, I always say, I don't care if somebody's green, purple, or yellow. To me, people are people. I know most people don't think like that, but I truly believe that.
The fabric's very pretty.
And then you have a blouse, matching blouse for this?
No, just this. Actually, my mom brought it back from Indonesia, and I would just wear it with like a t-shirt or something. She didn't get me the whole outfit. My sister has an Indonesian wedding dress.
Really?
You can tell when someone's Latin usually, but yeah.
She look like a...
Wait, there's a holiday coming up.
Cinco de Mayo.
What is it? Cinco de Mayo. What is it?
We need to go down to Mexican town.
Yeah, you
Have a feast.
drink margarita.
The whole
hear-
weekend, right?
Yeah.
I hear we go, your tires going right away, 5 minutes. Still your tires.
No, I go all the
It's
time.
still a baby from his mother, man.
No, go down there for good food, good times. I don't know where you park at, but stay away
That I hear.
Stay away
I hear
from
if you go
free
there,
parking, man.
you check your pockets.
Stop
don't
being
take
cheap and pay some money and park somewhere.
Where is Greek town? Mexican town. Where is it?
That's by the bridge over there by...
That's why I say, you leave your car for half hour and say your car is going. I don't know.
No, I go there all
I
the
don't
time.
go there, man.
I never had a problem.
I never had a problem. I go by myself down there all the time.
First of all, being Jewish and being aware of the Holocaust and realizing what happens when people are indifferent to others, the suffering of others, or that they feel that a certain group is superior to another, that it destroys the human being.
When I first came to this country and, you know, started to interact with people and became comfortable with certain people, because when I went to grade school, I went to grade schools from the 2nd grade through the 8th grade, so I interacted with mostly the same kind of people, and every time they would ask me, you know, well, do you live in a mud hut? You know, do you live in the jungle? Do you encounter lions, tigers, and bears? And I tell them, no, we lived in the city, you know. We had cars, you know, we had running water, you know. Well, at that particular time in Africa, running water was, you know, a town watering area. You know, we didn't have electricity, but you got those odd things, and when they realized that you weren't originally from this country, they would assume, well, you're from Jamaica or you're from Haiti or the Dominican Republic. And it's like, no, I'm from Africa. My mother is East Indian, and that's why I look the way I do. That's why my hair is the way it is. That's why my skin is the way it is.
These kinds of problems are particular only to America. The whole world has these kinds of problems. There are, differences, discriminations, and all these kinds of things all over the world, in some form or the other, due to some reason or the other. They are there. It's not just one uniform place. So, education is the key word. Education and putting what you learn into practice. Education alone is not going to solve the problem, but education that is put to use, that is practiced, that is like saying, don't be just a preacher, but practice what you preach.
I firmly believe that the only way you can really get to know other people is to live with them, to work with them, play with them, I grew up all over the world, and I was very, very lucky. At the age of 4.5, we went to Pakistan. And so my introduction to foreign cultures, to people who spoke different languages and people who looked differently from me was very, very early. Many people, though, are not that fortunate, and I think especially here in the Midwest, people tend to be somewhat isolated, and so we definitely need more integration.
What do you want to be?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Maybe own some business.
Own a business?
Yeah. Because I'm from China, Most of your shoes, your pants, all made in China.
We know.
Yeah, I know how to deal with that.
We pay twice as much for them too, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, probably
because
5 times.
in China, the labor just got a very low pay.
I know.
他说，这美国人文化和中国文化，哪一个更容易比较适应让你？
American 比较自由。
You think maybe American culture is much better. Chinese culture is more acceptable.
I believe that, especially in the United States, we're a very fortunate country because we have people from every walk of life, every religious background, every cultural difference, and we're I believe, one of the best countries in the world. And I lived in Europe for a couple years, and every time I would come home, I would be so thankful I was here for a number of reasons, mainly opportunities and freedoms. And I think that it's a shame that the whole world wouldn't get a chance to see how truly similar we are rather than how different we are.
是不是就是福利有更多的权利，比中国？如果讲这个问题，那就讲几句。
对，肯定是。
Yes. Yeah. You have more freedom, or you have more opportunity or chance to find a job, to work. Yeah.
Different. Woman. Child American different.
Because you guys just respect a woman, so like in America, you always say lady first.
Educating our children, giving them opportunities to develop and to be around people from other parts of the world, to embrace other cultures, to learn about other cultures and traditions and religions.
We need to keep pushing. These changes are going to come about, but they're not going to be easy. And just because we've made some progress doesn't mean we can't go back to our bad old ways of being separate from, thinking of ourselves as being separate from one another.
Before I walked in here, I wrote like a, I don't know, probably a 20-second poem about what I thought this was about, and it addresses exactly that. You want to hear it?
Sure.
It's called, All People, All Souls. What are the goals? What do all people really need or want? Here's some maybes. Safety, love, family, good food sometimes, time to relax, talking to people you care about, favor with God, stable shelter, some fairness sometimes, good husband or wife, having an opportunity to provide for your family, good strong communities, people doing nice things for no reasons. You have to wonder, how long till that season? Whites, greens, blacks, blues, can they even relate to each other's shoes? Until we try to hear each other, the goals will be called fantasies. All we have to do is try. And so that's kind of what I think, is that everybody wants the same stuff. Everybody wants to hug their girl. Everybody wants to see their kids grow up. I mean, that's what everybody wants.
Well, if people learn more about other people's culture, I think they would be able to communicate with them a lot easier.
There will be more diversity, more people coming from other countries in the world. So the mixture is going to be different constantly, and then the administration or administration or the ruling of the country has to adjust to those conditions in a peaceful way and provide cautiously. That's what I'm hoping for. I think it has to happen, because America cannot fail. If America fails, the world is going to fail.
I think that the great lesson is that once you break down people by groups or by economic or other criteria, once you have the belief that some are superior and therefore others are inferior, then you're part of the process of destroying society, because we can't have that kind of a system where there are superior and inferior people. And so that's the lesson to me. I was in the march in Detroit when Dr. King was in Detroit before the march in Washington. The first time he spoke about, he used the term, "I had a dream." And I'll never forget that, because people, black and white, embraced one another. We were walking down Woodward Avenue, the main street in Detroit, and literally we just saw people and embraced one another, because there was just a feeling of understanding why we were there and what we believed. And I have never experienced anything like that. Total strangers embracing. And that lesson kept with me the rest of my life.
I love it here. I love what I live in the United States. God bless America.
Do I need them, really, think, or?
If you're playing on top of it.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, all right. All right.
That's not easy. Sounds awesome.